Samir tell me Chapter 2 Rama leaving Ayodhya, concern for others' distress. Minimizes our distress. This is from the book Wisdom from the Ramayana on Life and Relationships by Chaitanya Charan.
The Ramayana teaches how to respond to adversity with dignity. While many of its characters demonstrate grace amidst duress, Rama demonstrates it most poignantly, especially when he was exiled for no fault of his. We all face various kinds of problems, persistent problems that we can do nothing about, such as, say, a back pain. Problems that come when we expect trouble, and problems that we don't expect at all. The utterly unexpected problems are especially difficult to respond gracefully to. When we are expecting a pat and get a slap instead, we feel the most hurt. Similar was the adversity that befell Rama when he was to be enthroned as the prince regent and eventually the king. On the night prior to that joyous celebration, his father Dasharatha was manipulated by his youngest wife, Kaikeyi, into fulfilling two promises he had made long ago. She demanded that Rama be sent to the forest for 14 years and that her son Bharata be enthroned instead of Rama. Dasharatha was shocked and shattered. But being an honorable king, he had to fulfill his promise to her when she rejected all his desperate pleas to relent. Early next morning, when Rama came to meet his father before going for the celebration, Kaikeyi coldly informed him of what the king had promised. Since that point, Rama's dealings with various people are exemplary and instructive. With Kaikeyi, though the adversity that had befallen him would have been staggering for most people, Rama remained externally composed and became internally contemplative. Seeing that Kaikeyi had become utterly cold-hearted in pursuing her agenda, he decided to try to bring down her animosity by softening her heart. He told her gently, "I had always considered you my mother. I thought that you too had considered me your son. But today I am saddened to know that you never did." Kaikeyi would have expected this to be a build-up for an argument about her utter unfairness in treating Rama. Just when she would have been preparing to defend and distress counter, Rama disarmed her. "If you had accepted me as your son, you would have directly asked me for the kingdom instead of having to go to and through my father." While Kaikeyi was still processing this astounding statement, Rama continued and assured her, "To please you and to honor my father's word, I will soon proceed to the forest." Thus, knowing that his family would remain in a state of great tension as long as Kaikeyi maintained her hostility towards other family members, Rama tried his best to decrease the tension without reacting impulsively. Trying to decrease the anger of those who have grievously wronged us, at whom we have every right to be angry, requires a remarkably selfless level of love. With Dasharatha, though his father was the person who had consented to his exile, Rama never blamed him. The Ramayana commentators point out that during this meeting between Dasharatha and Rama, the mortified king could hardly utter a single coherent word except for calling out Rama again and again, and crying uncontrollably. Seeing his father's agony, Rama tried his best to solace him. "Father, I feel no resentment towards anyone. I will promptly proceed to the forest." The forest, Rama came back to see Dasharatha and take his later, after making all the arrangements for going to leave. Then, Dasharatha desperately tried various ways to alleviate the inevitable. He urged Rama, "Stay for just one more day so that I can offer you all royal comforts." Rama knew that the longer he delayed his departure, the more Kaikeyi would become angry, and consequently the more his father would be distressed. He replied gently to his father, "I consider going to the forest to honor your word a privilege. And I don't want to delay it for even one moment." Love is sometimes conveyed by expressing our emotions and sometimes by concealing them. At the time of farewell from our loved ones, we may feel aggrieved, but if expressing that grief will aggravate their feelings of separation, delay the departure, and thereby jeopardize an important and urgent service, then we need to conceal our emotions. Such keeping our emotions within our heart is a testimony to our love. It demonstrates that our love is not just about our feelings, but also about the well-being of our loved ones, whose distress we wish to minimize. Rama demonstrated such love in his dealings with Dasharatha. With Lakshmana, Rama's younger brother was infuriated at the injustice of the command handed out to Rama. Exile was a terrible punishment, second only to the worst of all punishments, execution. Sentencing to exile a person who is totally blameless was outrageous. Distress minimizes our distress. Lakshmana urged Rama to protest, even revolt. Going further still, he assured Rama of his full support. His eyes widened, his nostrils flared, seething with anger. He roared, "Anyone who dares to come in the way of your coronation will have to meet my unstoppable arrows." As he spoke, his anger grew further till it targeted his father. The king has become blinded by lust for his youngest wife. That's why he has issued such an unjust command. Rama tried to calm him. "I saw that our father was overwhelmed by sorrow at my exile. He acted not out of infatuation, but out of obligation, but he is bound by the promise that he had made to her." Lakshmana's fury burst out as skepticism. Who knows if the king was actually obliged? "We have never heard about such a promise." Still remaining calm, Rama reminded him, "All the kings in our line have always honored their word. Our father too is doing the same, even at great cost to himself. It is our responsibility and privilege to help him maintain that track record of honor." But Lakshmana was still unconvinced. His temper was boiling, and now, he directed it towards Kaikeyi. "She has become heartlessly selfish." Rama reminded him of past instances of Kaikeyi's love for them. Her love had been like the flow of the Ganga. Lakshmana retorted, "I can't understand how the Ganga has dried up overnight." To this, Rama responded, "That's why on seeing the inconceivable change in her mood, I am convinced him that the will of destiny is being enacted through her." By bringing destiny into the discussion, Rama tried to deflect Lakshmana's anger away from Kaikeyi, thereby again minimizing the hostility within the family. Gradually, Rama managed to calm his brother. Though Lakshmana gave up his instinctive desire to lead a coup against the king, he insisted on accompanying Rama to the forest. Rama tried to dissuade him, but Lakshmana remained unrelenting. Knowing that he had already said no to one of his brother's desires, the desire to resist the sentence of exile, Rama knew that saying no yet again would hurt Lakshmana unbearably. So, he acceded to his request. With Kaushalya was devastated on hearing about Rama's imminent exile. When he went to her palace and told her about his exile, she cried out to him, "First, I suffered a long dark night during which I had been unable to have a son and provide an heir to my husband. Finally, after many difficult vows and austerities, I got you as my son, a son who has fulfilled all my dreams and has become my reason for living. But alas, just when my dream of your coronation is about to come true, things have turned into a nightmare." What made her misery worse was that this nightmare, our distress, had occurred because of the same person who had caused her much distress throughout her married life, her youngest co-wife, Kaikeyi. Though Kaushalya had been the first wife of Dasharatha and had been entitled to the position of the principal queen, that position had been covertly taken away from her by Kaikeyi, to whom the king had been far more attracted. Kaushalya had graciously tolerated this slight, but that wound erupted on hearing of Kaikeyi's brazen machinations to deprive Rama and favor Bharata. Crying piteously, Kaushalya begged Rama, "O Rama, please take me with you to the forest. I won't be able to live with the barrage of insults coming from Kaikeyi. Once Bharata becomes the heir apparent, she will not even try to conceal her insults. And your father will remain silent through it all. If he has sided with her during such a grievous wrong as your banishment, why will he speak out in future?" Rama commiserated with his mother's plight, but reminded her, a wife's first duty is to stand by her husband's side through thick and thin. Striving to change her mental picture of her husband from that of a victimizer to a co-victim, Rama told her, "Father is shattered by this turn of events. My exile has happened despite his will. He is devastated at what has happened. To survive this devastation, he will need your moral support, mother. At this critical juncture, if you too abandon him, that double shock will be unbearable for him." By thus helping Kaushalya to see things from her, an overt husband's perspective, Rama ensured that their family didn't become further disrupted, either by exodus of many family members to the forest, or a covert resentment that might cause it to implode. Sticking by our loved ones in times of their distress is an enduring test of love. Rama stood by his father and inspired others, including his mother, to do the same, even when he could have blamed his father for whatever was happening, and got other family members to join him in this blame game. To remove thorns from the path of those who have filled our path with thorns, it is the summit of selfless love. With Sita, Rama didn't want Sita to suffer because of the calamity that had befallen him. After gently informing Sita about what had happened, he told her how she was to conduct herself in his absence. I will be leaving for the forest soon. While I am away, O Sita, please don't praise me in the presence of Bharata. Rama could anticipate possible tensions in the kingdom if Sita praised him in front of Bharata, who would soon be the king. Rama asked her to desist from any such action. Sita was aghast at what had happened and even more appalled at the prospect of staying alone in the kingdom without her husband. She responded, O Rama, when my father gave my hand to you in marriage, he told me to stick by your side through thick and thin. I will go with you to the forest. Rama tried to dissuade her by speaking at length about the many travails of forest life. But Sita remained firm. The dangers of the forest will be a joy if they provide me your company. Without you, the palace will give me no comfort. When Rama still refused, she resorted to a last, surefire weapon attacking Rama's masculinity. Alas, my father has given my hand to a man who doesn't have the courage or the confidence to protect me. Rather than taking offense at this attack of his virility, Rama saw it as it was intended an expression of Sita's unshakable resolve to accompany him to the forest. He smiled and told her, O Sita, now I am convinced that you truly want to come with me, that you will find staying in the kingdom more distressing than living in the forest. You are welcome to join me. I will be comforted and delighted to have your company during my stay in the forest. With courtiers as the courtiers and citizens expressed their resentment at the cruelty of Rama's exile, Rama pacified them. I see no cruelty, only opportunity, the opportunity to please my stepmother, who was just like my birth mother, the opportunity to ensure that my father's name will be included in the glorious list of honorable kings who were ready to sacrifice their everything for a higher cause, the opportunity to have my younger brother, who is very dear to me, enthroned as the king, and the opportunity to associate constantly with forest sages and enrich myself with their spiritual wisdom. By thus amazingly recasting his situation as auspicious instead of inauspicious, Rama helped free the courtiers and citizens from resentment towards their king, thereby preventing any negative effect on the kingdom's administration. Shifting our focus in our life, when we face distress, we often tend to feel sorry for ourselves and to speak about our sorry state to others. We often lash out at those who we feel have caused us distress. The more we speak about our sad plight, the more we become radiators of distress. Of course, sharing our troubles can sometimes unburden us, especially when we do so among those who can understand and strengthen us. However, even during such sharing, we may end up wallowing in self-pity, something that only aggravates our feeling of being victimized and makes others feel increasingly troubled. The preceding analysis is not to minimize or trivialize the problems we face in life. They are often real and serious, and they frequently need tangible solutions that have to be practically implemented. Simultaneously, all problems, distress have a mental component that can make them seem far bigger than what they actually are. We can minimize the mental expansion of our problems by shifting our focus from ourselves to others, from the problems we are facing to the problems that they are facing. This shift of focus helps us keep our sense of perspective and act maturely. Gita wisdom helps in this shift of focus by reminding us that this world is a place of distress for everyone. All that varies is the form and frequency of distress. Further, all of us can find relief by taking shelter of our Lord and acting in a mood of service to help each other in our spiritual growth. By thus seeing the universality of suffering instead of obsessing over our specific suffering, we can escape the trap of self-pity and progress towards tackling problems instead of perpetuating or aggravating them. When faced with problems that seem to originate from specific people, but which actually are intrinsic to the very fabric of this world, we can meditate that during our life's journey, we are not here to see through each other, we are here to see each other through.